So you're an aspiring expat and you want to know what the real cost of living of Colombia is, this video is for you. Welcome to How to Expat. My name is Sam.
And my name is Tasha, and we are expats here in Colombia. So today we're going to talk about the cost of living in the 3 cities that we also offer services. Those are Bogota, Santa Marta, and Medellin.
And remember, throughout this video, if you hear the cost of living of Santa Marta, they're more or less going to be the same for the cities of Pereira, Armenia, and Cali. And Cartagena has more or less the same cost of living like Bogota. So just put it out there if you want to know the cost of living in these cities too. But going further in this video, we're just going to talk about Santa Marta, Medellin, and Bogota. And important also to know is that we're talking about the developed world lifestyle here in Colombia. So these figures are not just some figures we picked out from the internet. So we actually have a company helping expats relocate. So we know very, very well what the usual expat will spend in Colombia. Most of expats come here and they expect that they're gonna pay less, but at the end of the day finding themselves spending more what they kind of actually planned. But we will go through these figures, what for example we spent here in Medellin, and what we found what other, let's say, expats, our clients, our friends spend in different cities here in Colombia. So let's start with the first category, accommodation. So I have to look to my right because there's the computer. So in Medellin, an unfurnished apartment, 2-bedroom apartment could cost around $700 to $1,000, what we usually find what expats gonna get here in Medellin. A furnished 2-bedroom apartment is a little bit more expensive. Of course, furnished is always a little bit more expensive. $900 to $1,300 a month, what usually expats gonna get. In Santa Marta, the prices are a little bit lower. So an unfurnished 2-bedroom apartment, $500 to $800, and a furnished 2-bedroom apartment, $800 to $1,100. And in Bogota, it's a little bit more expensive. Unfurnished 2-bedroom, $800 to $1,100. And a furnished 2-bedroom apartment, all around $1,000 to $1,500. Of course, these are broad numbers, but this is what usually expats gonna spend in the neighborhoods expats usually live in. Of course, you can get way lower and way higher than that.
So the utilities. You don't have to pay the utilities when you're living in a furnished apartment. So in case you're living in an unfurnished apartment, you have to pay around $60 for internet and $40 for gas, electricity, and water. So in total, that will be $100. But if you're living in Santa Marta, where it's really hot and humid, you most probably want to get an air conditioning. So this might get like a little bit more expensive. But in general, it's around $100. Let's talk about my favorite topic, food. So Santa Marta and Medellin are pretty similar in the prices. So for lunch, you can it's around $3 for a lunch, and you get the fresh juice, you get a soup, and you get the main plate. So this is around $3. So for dinner, it's around like $10 to $15, depends how fancy you want the food to be. But this is like a range you can think about when it comes to dinner. And so Bogota is a little bit more expensive. So lunch there will be around $4, which is still inexpensive, but a little bit more expensive than Medellin and Santa Marta. And for dinner, around $15 to $20. So it's a little bit more expensive in Bogota compared to Santa Marta and Medellin.
So this is Groceries. We just came back from a big grocery haul. And we're gonna explain what costs you can expect here in Colombia in regards to grocery shopping.
So as Sam mentioned before, we just came back from grocery shopping, and so I'm gonna show you a few things that we got today. So let's start with the eggs. Those are 30 eggs in here, and they're like $3. Then we have milk here for $1. Chicken breast, frozen chicken breast, there are 2 pieces inside for $5. And a lot of vegetables and fruits here on this side, and all of those together are around $10. So for the whole table, we spent $35, and I have to mention that it doesn't matter in which city you're living in, if it's Santa Marta, Bogota, or Medellin, the prices are kind of the same, which brings me to the next topic, monthly. So you can kind of, yeah, more or less you can spend $350 a month on grocery shopping.
So the next category is medical. So medical, we always try to put aside kind of an emergency amount every month, because not every month you're gonna go to a doctor. So a doctor's visit here more or less costs around $30, especially if you work with our doctor, which is on our website. A consultation is for 1 hour is around $30, so incredibly inexpensive. Getting your teeth cleaned or something like that is another $30. A crown, let's say, for the dentist, $100, $200. So it's very, very inexpensive. At the end of this video, we will show you kind of a summary and explain you what we put in every month, so you can see the cost of living monthly. Then the next thing is transport. Let's say in Medellin, a typical fare we usually pay here in the city is around $5 for a taxi or an Uber. Of course, it depends the range, but mostly what we're gonna spend if we take an Uber is around $5. And it's pretty much, for let's say the public transport, it's pretty much neglectable. The metro fare is 70 cents, so yeah, that's, even if you use it all the time, it not really adds up for let's say on a monthly budget. Then in Santa Marta, it's more or less the same fare. It's around $5 what you usually get with the taxi, because distances are not quite that long in Santa Marta. It's a smaller city. And yeah, public transport mostly is not used by expats. Then in Bogota, it's a little bit more expensive. The city is bigger and the taxi fares are more expensive. So what we tend to usually spend in Bogota is around $10, even $12, depending on which distance you want to cover with the taxi or the Uber. The public transport, on the other hand, is also very, very inexpensive. So if you go to the Transmilenio, then also that's around 70 cents a ticket. So also kind of neglectable.
So the cell phone, for a SIM card with around a gigabyte data, you will pay around $10 to $15. So we are using just prepaid phones. We don't have like an actual plan. So this is what we are paying, and so this is everywhere the same thing. So Claro, for example, that we are using is in Santa Marta, is in Bogota, and is here the same price. So it doesn't really depend which provider you're using. The prices are more or less the same.
Then the next category is insurance. So insurance, you have kind of two systems in Colombia. We don't gonna go into detail in this video, but you have EPS and you have the private system. The EPS is very, very inexpensive. So let's say around 50 to 80 bucks. Even as a couple, so it doesn't matter if you're single or couple, if you're one household, it's the same price. It's very, very inexpensive per month. And then the second thing is the private, which can be around $150 to $250 a month, depending on which package you have and your age and pre-existing conditions and things like that. So yeah, we will put in the summary at the end of this video, we'll just put in the EPS prices. If you want a private insurance, it's a little bit more expensive. Usually it's like with the clients we have, 50% are interested in the basic EPS, and the other 50% are interested in private insurance, so you cannot really generalize here.
So about the other stuff, that really depends extremely on what you want to do. So going to the movies, shopping, whatever it is usually like the same price in each city. And also we have to mention that there are a lot of activities for free in each city, so you don't have to spend so much anyway.
So we prepared you 3 summaries of cost of living, so you really get the idea what kind of a budget you should have when coming here to Colombia. The prices are all of Medellin. The first one is what a single expat would pay, then the second is what Tasha and I have as a monthly budget here in Medellin. And the third thing is what expats usually pay here in Medellin, because we have to add, we live a little more frugally than usually people do. And on the other hand, we don't live in a typical expat neighborhood. And yeah, so we spend a little bit less than the usual expat here. So let's start with the first summary. So I want to do this quickly. So let's say $600 for rent, $100 for utilities, $100 for eating out 15 times a week, let's say $150 groceries, $25 for one doctor visit per month, then $100 for transport, $15 for cell phone, $100 for insurance, and $200 for kind of other expenses, which would then equal of $1,390 for a single expat here in Medellin. So we, on the other hand, we pay around $300 for rent, $100 for utility, $250 for eating out, $250 for groceries. We set aside $50 for a doctor visit per month. Of course, we don't go to the doctor every month, but yeah, just to set it aside. $100 for transport, $300 for a cell phone, $300 for insurance, $200 for other expenses. So we're gonna go with a monthly budget of $1,380 per month here in Medellin, Colombia. That's really more or less what we spend here. And we found with our clients and with people we know, expat friends we have, that we're surely on the lower end, but it's surely important for you to know that this cost of living is possible. So it equals around $700 per person if you're coming here as a couple. And then a normal couple, let's say, what we find with our clients is $800 for rent, $100 for utility, $250 for eating out, $300 for groceries, $50 for setting aside for medical expenses, $100 transport, $30 cell phone, $300 insurance, $200 for kind of other expenses. So $1,230 for what the usual expat couple would spend here in Medellin, Colombia. As I said, if you live in Bogota, just add around 20% to that number, and if you're in Santa Marta, just subtract around 20%, and that's more or less the average you're gonna get if you plan to live here in Colombia as a full-time expat.
So that was pretty much it for today's video. I hope you liked it. And so don't forget that we also offer services in all those 3 cities that we mentioned, Bogota, Medellin, and Santa Marta, where we can help you to get settled here in Colombia.